I didn't think it was possible, folks, but it looks like Marvel has been taking notes from Star Wars book as of late because this show just keeps getting worse and worse, episode by episode. In fact, Ironheart might just be Marvel's very own homage to the Acolyte. After all, they're both led by morally confused, utterly annoying, and ignorantly entitled young female leads. At least there's only one of them this time. Actually, I take that back. We in fact do have this abominable on-screen duo to grapple with here.
Hey girl, how's the heist going? No. Don't make an excited face. Come on.
Now, welcome back to Ironheart, this time with episode 3 as we boot back up for everyone's favorite Marvel cinematic disaster piece. We open up on what might possibly be the most cliche, cringiest use of slow motion montage in the history of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I can't help but think this scene makes more sense as an on-screen allegory for Marvel literally throwing their cash away aimlessly with the production of the show itself. Poetic. We then get what can only be described as a completely insufferable noise from the clown character here. Yes, her name is Clown. And we see the entire budget for Slug's fingernails on screen in the form of the Ironheart title card here.
Are so childish.
Shut up, Slug.
Childish? Are you referring to the writers of the show? Or maybe it's referring to the absolute cucks in my comments complaining about media literacy when their favorite MCU movie is the Marvels. Media literacy, whatever that is. Just watch this train wreck for yourself and you can become literate.
Y'all are so childish.
Seriously, childish, coming from the one who did this last episode.
Pleasure doing business with you.
You're eating a bag of chips on a heist, and you're walking in like it's a goddamn drag show. Now, obviously, Slug is a veteran at dancing for cash as a drag stripper, so they're not impressed.
Like you wouldn't strut in a money shower?
Once you've strut in one money shower, you've strut in the more.
But what is Ocean's Gen Z going to do with all their newfound cash? Let's find out.
I'm gonna go home and open up a Michelin star restaurant lounge.
Oh, fancy.
Oh, I mean, not a bad idea, but do you know what it takes to run a successful restaurant, let alone a Michelin star?
Ibra, make sandwiches. Don't stop making sandwiches.
And
Step out.
Okay, I'm gonna talk to Marcus.
Step, get
Order.
off my expo chef now!
I'd love to see a cameo from Slug in The Bear. I mean, they probably don't even need knives. She's already got a set on her fingertips.
Also something Stuart would say. I miss that too.
Oh, Stu, don't you mean Rampage?
Don't you mean Rampage?
Still no.
Finally, somebody says my boy's name correctly. Put some respect on his name. Also, completely not forced at all obvious Rampage foreshadowing. Peak character return incoming. Fingers crossed. So far, so good, though. I do like the restaurant thing. Not a terrible idea to use your cash with. You know, create a sustainable business idea. Not bad. Who's next?
I'm about to open up a school for kids.
Oh, perfect. A school for kids. What could go wrong? I mean, it seems like these guys are on the right track to becoming good guys after all. A restaurant, school for kids.
A school for kids as a money laundering front for my black market exclusive.
What? Nah, you had me in the first half, but out of every single other option available for money laundering, you picked a school. I don't think schools are too much of a profitable business. Seriously, you're in the hood in Chicago. Who's paying enough for children's school to justify that much money coming through a business? I don't know. Why don't you just use Slug's fake Michelin star restaurant as a front at this point? It would make more sense. So obviously they're all listing off their aspirations here, and it's a highly predictable train wreck already, but let's see what the Blood Twinks have to say. Yeah, these two.
What y'all planning to do?
Underground Fight Club.
Underground Fight Club.
Makes sense. They're fighters. Fighter's gonna fight. But isn't the goal of doing highly illegal activities, gaining massive amounts of cash, to eventually get out of the game? So, you know, you can enjoy your time legally without worrying about prison time. He's got to be the goddamn smartest criminals of all time. And I mean that pejoratively. That's a piece of dialogue for me there. That is foreshadowing dialogue from the show. So pay attention to the word pejoratively and look it up. Now, Riri might have the best motivation of them all because she's the hero when she reveals her use of the money.
How about you? Oh, my money goes back into the suit. Denser alloys, precision fittings, and I almost have enough so I can quit this shady shit.
And that's what I'm talking about. Finally, she says something remotely intelligent. I'm on board with that. But actually, you're underselling yourself here, Riri. You sold a classified military-grade bubble shield to some dumbass in college for a couple of bucks. Why don't you just take that tech and, I don't know, take it to any viable tech company in the entire world and sell it for 100 times more. Maybe get a contract for developing new tech. I forgot, she's from the hood, so the only way Disney knows how to write her is to have her become a criminal. Even though she's a super genius, she has to join a group of retards for illogical ass-backwards heists that make Simple Jack look like Magnus goddamn Carlson.
You went full retard, man. Never go full retard.
And what the f*** is that noise?
Guys.
It's just a crackhead bitch. Seriously, the noise pollution that spews from the depths of this girl's throat would probably fry the circuit board on one of those mimic toys they give to little children. You know, the ones that dance.
Now to breaking news out of the Metro East. That's where first responders are currently on the scene of a home explosion.
So this morning, First Alert 4's Elena Chappie joining us live from that scene this morning, sharing the very latest details on this. Elena, what have you been able to learn?
Now, Clown comes out of the hood's closet wearing the hood itself. She broke in and stole the hood, of course. Is that all you guys do, is just steal shit in this show? According to the show, we then get a pseudo-scientific explanation of what's going on with this magic hood.
Damn, this thing is weird.
Weird how?
It's like, it's hot, but not in a sexy way. In like a edging on theoretical physics kind of way.
What the hell does this even mean? And who's edging physics? I want to find them and call me physics.
Do we have time to analyze the energy? To get to the bottom of Hood's powers?
Yo, between me and you can figure it out.
My sister in Christ, you light shit on fire for a living. And you here, you build bubble shields and knock off iron suits. This is likely a highly magical artifact from another dimension, and you two are gonna somehow crack the code. Understood. Where's f***ing Doctor Strange when you need him? Now, Hood Guy and Italian Job are honestly my favorite characters so far besides Rampage. So I hope one of them walks in and cracks these bitches over a table.
Invisibility, bending bullets.
Oh, perfect. Just what I ordered. Can we play that one back, Jarvis?
Bullets.
Faster. More intense. Slow it down. Perfect. This is music to my eyes. Now, this is the best scene in this show so far, I gotta be honest. Shouldn't have touched the hood. Don't touch the hood.
Do not touch the damn hood!
Now, Italian Job threatens Riri as well and puts her in her goddamn place.
Yo, what's your problem?
My problem. I want you to go ahead and back away, little girl.
What?
What are you gonna do, Riri? The dude has minimum 50 pounds on you and a foot of height, and not to mention the testosterone, and also, don't forget, he's an expert with knives.
I'm also highly skilled in the art of Sentimental Siciliano.
He's also apparently not afraid to hit a girl. I gotta hand it to Marvel here. They've actually been letting the girls get slammed in this show. Pause. No diddy, but only by members of the gang. As soon as they're in a fight with actual enemies, they become useless NPCs on story mode difficulty. Seriously, nobody takes any damage besides friendly fire. Now Parker, aka Hood Boy, comes in and settles everything, of course.
We all want the same thing, yeah? Let's look ahead to the next hit. Slug, give us a rundown.
Oh boy, this is gonna get good. I can't wait to see what kindergarten level plan Ocean's Gen Z comes up with this time.
Next target's Heirloom, and Heirloom CEO Hunter Mason.
Oh cool, they're taking on a farming industry giant. What's the motive?
They're driving local farmers out of business.
Of course, he's harming local business. I should have expected it. Now, the catch with this heist is that the bioengineering facility has metal detectors everywhere because heavy metals are apparently toxic to plant biology.
But what we do know is that the entire facility is outfitted with security designed to detect any metals that could be considered a threat to the biology, which means no knives, no suit, and no bombs. Any questions?
Questions? I have several. Let's break this down, shall we? Jarvis, give me the details on toxic materials and plant biology. According to my research, this scene is both somehow scientifically accurate and completely bullshit at the same exact time. I'll tell you why. Now, while concentrations of heavy metals are indeed proven harmful to plant biology, the metals would have to be consistently in close proximity, likely embedded or ingrained in the soil itself for long periods of time to do any real damage. So why would the entire facility have so many metal detectors to the point where you can't even bring a knife into the building? This makes no sense whatsoever. Completely contrived. I mean, there would likely be composition tests, maybe sensors in the soil, but why metal detectors across the entire facility? Listen, I'm going to tell you from personal experience, I've actually been into a bioengineering lab 4 plants myself where they replicated the DNA of endangered date palms, and there were no metal detectors. They were using metal in the lab. Seriously, look up Phoenix Agrotech on Google. I used to do media projects for their lab. The drama here is so beyond contrived by the writers, it's absurd. And any simple Google search can seemingly give you a greater understanding of this shit in 30 seconds than the entire writer's room combined. It's that simple, guys. Pick up your phone. Call Jarvis. Call Siri. Anyways, we forge on.
Any questions?
I have one. Why does a bunch of good-looking people look so pitiful?
No, they probably look pitiful because they're in the Marvel Cinematic Universe equivalent of the Acolyte, and they've just now realized they're never getting a season 2. Jokes aside, basically all the team's skills are being nerfed going into this heist, so this could get interesting at the very least, I guess. Side note, is that a dollar bill twisted up behind the Blood Twink's ear? We doing lines here, or what? Is that a thing?
Cocaine. No. Flour. Somebody just asked me why I hate the military.
This show just tries so hard to make the characters look cool to the point where it comes off completely the opposite way. It's okay though, because Hood Boy has the best piece of advice for the team here.
We all just got paid. Everybody go out, have fun, spend frivolously, and when we come back with cooler heads, we bring a heat to another rich asshole.
Spend frivolously? To be quite frank, unironically, this is exactly what I would do immediately after getting a paycheck from a heist. So I'm really not much better. Now Riri decides she needs to talk to Parker about the jobs they're pulling, and the first thing she asks is this.
Hey, Hood. Can I talk to you for a second? About these heists? We Ocean's 11 or The Sopranos?
Yes! Finally, an Ocean's 11 mention. I've been pulling that card for a couple episodes now, and they're finally catching on. Ocean's Gen Z, though. I said it first. It's a heist movie. But I would say they're closer to the Spy Kids than either of those things, which is unironically the best compliment I've given to the show so far.
Knows karate.
Wait a minute. Go back to Grandpa.
Pros. Superior intellect. Cons. Physically disabled.
Hello, Spy Kids. Sue me.
We Ocean's 11 or The Sopranos?
What's the difference?
What's the difference? To quote my haters here, look at the media illiteracy on this guy. The difference is Ocean's 11 sticks together. The squad is kind of like family. And Sopranos is actually a family, but they're full of backstabbing and betrayal. Come on, my guy. Just watch the movies. But why is Riri here in the first place?
I'm only doing this because I have to. Not because I'm a bad person.
You're joking, right?
Joking? No, she's not joking. She's just utterly ignorant to the fact that making money by any other legal means is actually completely and totally viable when you're a super genius with a Stark Fellowship and an MIT grant capable of participating in a super-powered multi-nation war in Wakanda. Yeah, but there's no other way to make money, right? Got to become a criminal in Chicago. After all, bubble shields only go for about $100 in college these days. It's criminal. Now, speaking of criminals...
Everyone you're talking about is a criminal. Including you.
No, I'm not.
Oh, so you're not a criminal. Let's back this shit up. Jarvis, roll the clips. Here we have you stealing a suit from MIT. I mean, it's her invention, but MIT money paid for it and has the legal rights. That's why they shut the AI off in the first episode. Here we have admitting wanting to get a job just to steal parts.
Oof, I need a job that pays. A lab so massive they don't notice if I finesse a resource here or there.
Oh, she stole this guy's World Series championship Cubs flag as he was sleeping. Oh, and what do we have here? Oh, yeah. You participated in a heist where your gang performed corporate extortion for money, which, by the way, has all of your names signed on likely highly illegal documents by now. But you're not a criminal. You're not. You're just a girl. Girl math. Okay, but what is Riri really doing? Let's find out.
I'm an engineer. What I'm building is
important.
Iconic.
Iconic? Okay, well, this is the entire problem with the show and the character so far. All of our favorite heroes have had motivation beyond just the surface in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, for the most part. Sure, Tony likes being iconic too, but that's kind of just what comes to him by his nature. His main goal is to reverse his wrongs of the past and become somebody who actually saves people instead of kills them with his technology. Now, sure, Riri says she wants to help people in one single line in the beginning of the show.
If I could just get my idea off the ground, help would never be too late. This could change the world.
But that just seems to be a childish veil for the real motivation that we actually see come out of her in the following scenes.
We get a Gates, right? We get a Pym, right? We get a Stark. Yeah, I'm here because I can be the greatest inventor of my generation.
Well, if not to help people, why would you build the suit?
Because I could. What I'm building is
important.
Iconic.
Bigger than Jobs. I did it because I could. Iconic. Blah, 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 blah. Riri finally asks about how the hood actually works, and we get this brilliant response.
Before my hood, I was a nobody. But with it, yeah, I'm unstoppable.
How does that work, actually? I've seen something like that before. Vibranium?
Magic.
I told you it was magic. Now, Parker completely shits on Riri in this conversation as he basically says, the hood is dope, it's magic, and I don't give a shit how it works.
I don't care how it works. It helps me protect who I love and what I want. And that's enough for me. I suspect that's enough for you too, Riri. But you're the genius, right? And I may be full of shit.
And then he tells her to kindly piss off.
So why don't you take your hard-earned cash and do good? Or whatever.
This is the first conversation where I started to enjoy the Parker character, the Hood character, a little more. I mean, I like the attitude they gave him with Riri here. You know, not a bad attempt at dialogue for a villain for once in this show, to be honest. We now cut to Riri's mom's place where she meets up with Xavier, and she gives him headphones, new headphones, as an upgrade.
Now you couldn't tie them worn-out earphones you be wearing.
Now, as expected, in completely predictable fashion, he calls her out on how she got the money for these, of course.
So you were dumpster diving a few weeks ago. Now you're buying expensive headphones?
That was before the job.
Right, that secret startup you super conveniently can't discuss.
And like I said, last episode, the only thing that these two ever talk about is Natalie. This dude is obsessed with his dead friend. Look, I get it. There's a time and a place for sentimental shit always, but I have dead friends. It is what it is. It's not something that's constantly the topic of discussion with my other friends, as if it just happened yesterday. Like, move on, bro. Move on.
These are Natalie. Every scratch and scuff on these worn out earmuffs, Natalie put there.
Oh, these sweat stains on the headphones? Natalie's. This shirt, never took it off. Natalie sneezed on it. My bathwater? Natalie's. I never changed it since she used it. I'm going a little far here, but you get the point. Like, brother, we understand Natalie is the only thing the writers can revolve both your characters around, but this is just getting out of hand and quite frankly annoying. We then get below Hallmark Channel level sentimental dialogue from these two.
That's nice. But how can you work without falling apart?
Every single dent is a memory I can hold on to.
Really? Every single dent on your headphones is what keeps her memory alive? That's it? And didn't she die like years ago? And Riri still has to ask if he can even function?
But how can you work without falling apart?
Bruh, she didn't die an hour ago. This show has to be written by absolute soy-powered snowflakes at this point. This dialogue sucks.
I feel her soul in these. She seeps into the music.
I can feel her soul. She seeps into the music. Okay, I've had enough. Jarvis, next scene, please.
It's you and your feels, huh?
I promise you, nobody is in any of their feels here. Maybe the writers. That's it. Now, this next piece of dialogue, I know we said next scene, but this next piece of dialogue is so out of left field, so out of character, and so pretentiously written that I couldn't even believe what I heard.
Come on, girl. And I mean that completely colloquially, not at all pejorative.
First of all, who the fuck from the hood talks like this? Does this guy talk like this? This was a news flash to me. Frick, I know Ivy League graduates that don't even talk like this.
And I mean that completely colloquially, not at all pejorative.
Now, I would completely understand this word choice if this dude was constantly characterized as some sort of Poindexter type, but nothing in the dialogue up to this point would suggest that this is in character for him. After all, this is the same guy who said this line earlier in the first episode.
Hey, black people.
It just screams intern writer trying to prove they can sound smarter than they actually are. I mean, if you break it down, like logically, it actually barely makes sense. Look, the definition of the word colloquial is like informal or everyday, kind of like, you know, using words in a slang type of manner, usually pertaining to certain culture and environments. And the word pejorative, this means with contempt or disapproval. Basically, in translation, he just said, oh, you feel sad too? Oh, sorry, I'm not trying to be a dick. I really mean it. I mean it. Which also makes no sense and turns the character into a douchebag. Obviously, he's being sincere here, guys. Obviously. Why would he need to say that? Like, it was never a question whether he was being sincere or not. So why would you even use these complex words that only serve to convolute the dialogue, muddle up the character, and create an air of unnecessary pretentiousness from the writers? It's literally a writer trying to sound smart through the character. It's bullshit. There are so many better ways to not only write this line, but also to write this line for this specific character and setting. I'll do it myself. Look, it would have been way simpler and more logical to just have him cap off the conversation with something like this. Look, Riri, your gift means a lot to me, but sometimes old feelings matter more than new luxuries. Now, that's not perfect, but it's just way simpler, way more appropriate for the tone of the show and the scene. What is this colloquial, pejorative? Like, we get it, Poindexter. You read the dictionary, but apparently you didn't read the definitions. Now we finally escape this conversation, and look who decided to join the party.
Oh, hi.
It's everyone's favorite pussy McSad face Han Solo Jr. Dark Web Tech Bro, aka Joe. Is that his actual name? We're gonna find out. Now, Riri's mom calls him a middle-aged white boy, and he gets all butthurt.
Daughter, why is there a sweaty middle-aged white man at my door?
I'm 36.
Like, is that even an insult, I guess? A sweaty, middle-aged white boy? Basically, he's here because he got inspired by Riri to finally do something with his tech. And mid-scene, here, check this out. This old black lady walks in and stares at Tech Bro here like she just discovered the white race for the first time. Seriously, they took their time to hire this actor and write this into the scene, shoot it, film it, put it in the edit. I've lived in a building, a multicultural building, mostly minorities and black people, and they do not act like this when there's a white person in the hallway. They mind their fucking business like regular humans. They say the devil is in the details, and the details in this show continue to put off terrible vibes from the writers, especially when it comes to do with anything regarding race, like subtle little things here and there. It's just hilarious. Now, Dark Web Tech Bro Han Solo Jr. lists off a few absolute banger ideas for his new tech here.
I've had so many ideas. 3D printed corneas.
3D printed corneas? Okay, let's improve people's vision. Makes sense. What's next?
The second iron stomach to make food poisoning a thing of the past.
Iron stomach. Iron stomach to cure food poisoning. Is that all the writers could think a second stomach would be good for? Seriously, the myriad of stomach diseases and conditions out there, and they make the dude want to combat food poisoning? Bro, there's people that have to shit out of their stomach into bags because their stomach's messed up, but you want to fix food poisoning. What about Crohn's disease? I don't know. Fix that shit. What the fuck? Okay, what's next?
Nanotech muscle fibers that increase strength and invulnerability.
Nanotech muscles.
Biomesh material for skin.
Bioengineered skin. Sounds promising.
Laser enhanced fingernails that never break or crack.
Listen.
Fingernails? My guy, you're like 2 for 5 here. Fingernails. I guess we could give some of those to Slug. She could use some nails. Not a bad idea. Now, here's where Han Solo Jr. finally starts to get interesting.
I get that you're having a whole moment, but today's not really a good day for me, so rain check.
He's gonna turn the tables on Riri.
No.
Excuse me?
I said no.
There we go. My guy, as soon as you become a decent character, I'll stop calling you Han Solo Jr., I promise. If you guys hear me give nicknames to characters, it's basically because I don't respect them enough. And if I don't give a nickname to a character, it's sometimes because I'm not even engaged enough to make fun of them. So you can never really tell. But yeah, Riri apparently agrees to help this dude make his tech dreams come true. And they're gonna meet up tomorrow.
You're gonna help me as much as I need, or I'm gonna tell your mom how we really know each other. So take a gander at these, and I will see you at my place tomorrow. Is 6 good? I'm sorry, what am I saying? 6 is good.
There's always a meeting tomorrow. Let's meet tomorrow, meet tomorrow. Now Riri heads back to her room and inexplicably starts talking to this toy frog.
Yeah, I know, I'm a criminal.
I get it. It's a literal, physical, and metaphorical representation of her innocence as this toy is staring her down as a reminder of how far she's fallen from her youth. But it's just funny to me.
I was going to optimize the suit, so let's freaking optimize.
But it's okay. She's only a criminal so she can optimize her suit and become iconic. Am I right, boys? Seriously, the self-awareness of the character does not make her any better at all. They could have given her any other motivation to sway the audience to her side when it comes to joining the criminal side to get money. But so far, her motives are just being iconic and optimizing the suit. Like, she's not trying to get money for her dying mom or to save the neighborhood, or like, you know, the motives for her doing this shit is simply because she didn't try any other way. She's not innovative when it comes to making money. She wants to take the easy route, which is ironically a harder route because now you got to deal with the law and moral ambiguity that'll crush your soul. I can't even explain. I'm at a loss for words. You guys fill in the blank. Imagine if she spent her brainpower developing mechanical limbs for children in need or developing biotech to help people like the white guy wants to do. Seriously, the white guy is actually the most likable character on the entire show so far, surprisingly. Now, in this scene, we see Natalie controlling the suit in the background, which is kind of funny. It's sad, though, because both the effects and the concept of this hologram AI with the suit is kind of cool, but it's just completely wasted on these characters and this story. This could have been an easy W for a legacy character to make a comeback in a really well-written Iron Man sequel, or even in a Spider-Man film where AI Tony Stark comes back to teach the next generation of heroes some important lessons. But no, we gotta waste it on Natalie and friggin' Riri Retard Williams. The one thing I don't get is how the audio has to come from the speakers when the AI is in the suit.
I'm not upgrading
shit until you pay me some attention.
What are you doing, Nat?
But as soon as she's out of the suit, she speaks as if she's physically in the room, like a real person.
How to kind of optimize the super before what? Before Parker's next job?
You know nothing about this man.
Like the audio shifts into a real person. Makes no sense. Physically makes no sense. Anyways, Natalie actually makes sense here, ironically, as she scolds Riri for being a giant dumbass.
And you don't care because you only seeing money. You're going to get caught being a high-tech criminal asset.
Finally, somebody says it. Maybe I'm starting to warm up to this Natalie glitch, after all.
Whoa, who you calling a glitch?
Natalie bitch. Whatever. Both. Never mind. Time will tell.
Ding, how about you try and treat me like a friend and partner instead of a high-tech genie?
Never mind. The AI wants to go hang out and do just girly things.
Let's go somewhere. Hang like we used to.
Back to square one with this shit. Natalie then drops this absolutely logic devoid line on Riri here.
That is not an efficient use of my time. You know what else isn't an efficient use of your time, Ree? Trying to figure out how to undo my suit override.
Listen, I don't think it's a waste of time for Riri to want to control her own suit, but it's clear that Natalie is sort of a botched version of an AI. She's not quite all there. So I guess it makes sense, after all, for the character. Now, Riri agrees to go hang out with the Natalie AI. Not sure what they're going to do. She's stuck with the suit if she wants to be a hologram, right? And she can't physically do anything or see anything if it's not on camera. This is absolutely ridiculous, but it gets worse. We then get this absolute abomination to end the scene.
Bonnie and Clyde back on the street. Come on, best friend. Go, best friend. That's my
Seriously,
best
Jarvis,
friend.
turn it off. That's better. Okay, now Riri finally gets Natalie to upgrade the suit here. The scene is actually still going. It's very unclear what these upgrades actually are. I don't know. They're just optimizations, I guess. Now, I'm 100% positive that the upgrades are only necessary so we can have some contrived character drama between these two. That's it. And to cap it all off, the show reveals that the soundtrack was curated by a middle school girl. Seriously, can we get any more on the nose with this shit? I hate it. I hate all of it. This soundtrack is like rubbing sand in my eardrums.
It's coarse and rough and irritating, and it gets everywhere.
Oh wait, this scene is still going. It seems Riri has been working on a new piece of tech here. Are you fucking kidding me? Overnight, in her bedroom, she invented the world's smallest hologram projector that seemingly needs no power source, or at the very least, an extremely low amount of power to begin with. Let's break this down. Every time Riri invents a new piece of tech in this show, it makes her character, ironically, even dumber. You're telling me she can invent something like this overnight in her bedroom, and she still needs to become a criminal to make money. Do you know how much this would go for on the TikTok shop? A necklace projector that can hold an AI version of your best friend? Holy shit. This is horrendous. This character makes every other Marvel tech-based character seem completely irrelevant at this point. She's completely broken Marvel tech. Marvel tech is over. It's done. Like, this is the Marvel final tech boss right here. You're looking at her. Now, time will tell how long it takes the writers to break their own logic with this device, or the real world, if you can say real world, physical logic of this device. Like, it's a necklace projector, right? So it's going to need to work in real space, not be obstructed. Like, the way it's set up, Riri will have to be face-to-face with Natalie at all times. So let's keep that one in mind. Also, whatever the camera from the necklace is pointing at, that's what Natalie can see. So if Natalie is looking at shit and the camera is not looking at it, it's going to break my brain. Sorry, this is how I am. I use logic when I'm watching shit to immerse myself in the show. This show has none of it, so I'm not immersed. In fact, let's put up a counter on the screen, Jarvis, that shows how many times they break logic with the projector system on the necklace. Now, Riri and Nat have a somewhat sentimental conversation that nobody cares about, so I'll save us the trouble and fast forward through this garbage. Natalie wants to go visit one more place with Riri, and now there's a 2-minute ad playing on Disney Plus right after this line. I'm not going to make you suffer the same fate. Anyways, it only took me a nanosecond to predict that they're going to visit the auto shop where Natalie and Riri and Stepdad were all shot up. Stepdad and Natalie died. Riri got out alive. But yeah, the garage where Natalie died. That's where they're going. And I'm correct as they both pull up to the garage and pause. They broke the rule already. Added to the counter. 3 minutes into this new hologram tech, and Riri is facing the wall, looking down, and Natalie is not even glitching or phasing out. This tech is so dumb. If they didn't want to deal with this issue, why not just make the hologram tech into a tiny drone that Natalie has control of? That's it. Like, these writers are so dumb, they can't even write the simplest of science fiction tech correctly. Hilarious. I wrote a better idea on my phone from my bedroom in 30 seconds. Hire me. No, please don't. Please don't. I'd probably delete myself if I had to stay in those writers' rooms for longer than 30 seconds. Seriously, pause again. They are now side by side, and the necklace is tucked into her jacket. How can you watch this and not be taken out of the scene? This show had to be written strictly for 5-year-olds or adults who've become so obsessed with diversity and representation that any logic in the show can just go out the window and they're going to sit there clapping. This is how far we've fallen, guys. This is Gen Z Marvel. Okay. Focus up here. Reset. Riri talks about wanting to get out of the Gen Z glam gang, finally.
Figure after this, it's 2 more jobs and then I am out. And you think Parker will let you go? He's not Al Capone.
No, he's certainly no Al Capone. Capone's the GOAT, but he might be worse. The dude's got a magical cape and commits corporate-level extortion, and you think he's just going to be chill with it when you walk away? Let's see how that plays out. Again, pause. Broke the rule. Again, she's bending over, facing the ground, and Natalie is still in full form. Thought we'd never notice, but we did.
Batman is playing Galaga. Thought we wouldn't notice, but we did.
Let's see what we're working with.
Pause. Again, zoom and enhance. 4 times now, and the necklace is literally nowhere to be seen, and yet Natalie is walking around the entire garage.
Oh my God. This is crazy.
How can she see shit? How the fuck does this shit even exist? This is the dumbest thing I've seen in any Marvel property ever. And I've watched Quantum Mania. Seriously, they just gave up on trying to make this shit work altogether. Zero logic from this show. From here on out and from the beginning, zero logic. Hold on to your popcorn buckets because this is where it gets even more retarded. And yes, that word is now completely and undeniably justified by this show. In fact, that word was probably somebody time traveled backwards, invented the word retarded just so that I could use it in the script to describe the show. Now, Riri starts having flashbacks for some reason, and this causes Natalie to glitch out.
Come see if this still has flavor.
I thought Natalie was powered by the suit, but now all of a sudden she's powered by Riri's mind. I don't understand. Pause. Hologram logic is now broken for a 5th time, where we see Riri completely covering it with her hand, and yet Natalie is still fully projected. Thought we wouldn't notice,
but we did.
I want to play some Galaga. Anyways, Riri is having a full-on panic attack by this point, so Natalie tells her to breathe.
Okay, all you have to do is breathe, okay? In and out. You do that with me? That was good. You all right? How do you know how to do that?
How does she know how to do what? Tell you to breathe when you're panicking? This is common sense, not something special. A random middle school kid off the street could dish out the same advice when they see someone having a panic attack. Breathe. Breathe in, breathe out. Do the basic human function that makes you live. Holy shit. You're telling me the writers couldn't think of any clever special way to calm you down that would actually carry out some sort of unique meaning to both of these characters? Instead, all she does is tell you to breathe in and out like a fucking basic human being. This writing, it cannot get any worse, but I promise you it will, and it does. And even if I haven't seen the rest of the episode yet, it does. If you guys didn't know, I write these scripts as I'm watching the episode, and then I kind of add to them when the episode is done. So it's like a reaction review. Raw. No diddy. But if the writing does get worse, I'm going to be here to point it out when it gets worse. Now, we cut to Riri arriving back home, and we get a scene with 2 of the dumbest police officers in the entire Marvel universe. Well, I think all the police officers in the universe are probably dumb, but these 2 are specifically dumb.
I'd like to ask you about your relationship to Stuart Clark.
Finally, my boy Rampage getting a mention, getting that screen time. Hopefully, let's go. This is good, though. This is good. Finally, some authorities are getting involved here, and let's see what goes down.
He said he knew me?
He was found dead this morning. We're investigating it as a potential homicide.
Wait. Rampage? No. No. This can't be. Ladies, gentlemen, thems, theys, F's in the comments from my boy Rampage. They got him. I'm about to rage quit the show, but the videos must go on. Pay your respects. F in the comments, boys and girls. In fact, take this as a blinker checkpoint if you got it. Might as well rip one for the boy. Now, the writers actually go well beyond their capabilities here as they allow the police to use actual logic for a moment.
Think Riri has something to do with this?
The photos indicate she is the last person to have called him.
I like it. I like it. Cops doing cops things, investigating. What else are they going to ask?
I tried reaching out once, but he never answered. If anything else comes to mind, we'd appreciate a call.
That's it. No further questions. That's literally it. Wow. This scene only exists to let us know that Rampage had a shit off-screen death. And as soon as that happens, the police become absolute NPCs and leave the scene with no further investigation. Fantastic. Great job, police. Chicago PD, I should have known. Now, Riri and Natalie have a panicked conversation about whether or not it was Hood guy that murdered Rampage. It's gotta be Hood. Who else is gonna murder Rampage? The sweetest guy on earth. The best guy. He's the best guy around.
He was the best guy around.
What about the people he murdered?
What murder?
Riri decides she needs to figure out what's going on with the Hood in order to eliminate Parker's strength.
He's just a regular dude in a magical outfit. He said so himself. He's nothing without that hood. Second, that's exactly why we need to get that hood.
My question is, if you can get access to analyze it, could you not just take it and fly it into the middle of a volcano or drop it into the middle of the ocean? I don't know what her plan is here, but it was already shown to us in the beginning of the show that they can break into his safe and steal the Hood. Maybe he's got a new safe now, or maybe he's sleeping with the Hood now. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what the plan is. We're going to find out. We're going to fuck around and find out. Probably going to be stupid as hell, though. I can guarantee that. Now, Riri gets a text from Parker to meet up at nighttime, and she decides on her master plan.
The heirloom heist. Parker will be so distracted with Hunter Mason, he won't even notice if I take just a little piece of his hood.
That's the plan. That's the master plan. And what is she supposed to do? Follow him around on the heist, even though their roles are completely separate? This is going to make sense sort of later on, I think. But I'm curious to see how this plays out. And what are you going to do once you do get the hood? Are you going to bring a piece of it to Doctor Strange to analyze? It's magic. You don't know shit about magic. You build bubble shields and iron suits. What do you know about magic? Please, come on. Now, remember, Riri still needs to figure out how to get access to the bio facility for the heist.
Joe has a prototype for a biomesh skin material. It can cover bionic enhancements.
Brilliant. It can cover up bionic enhancements. How convenient indeed. Does this mean it can fool metal detectors as well? I don't think that's how biomesh works. I'm gonna dive deeper into this technical issue a little bit later in the script, so just stay tuned. Anyways, Riri is going to use Tech Bro's blueprint to invent a solution for the heist, and we move on to this scene with Hood Guy and Italian Job.
Hey, yo, hot. Dang, it's hot in here, bro. Yo, don't yoga people listen to gongs?
I'm sorry, what was that? Gongs? This is news to me. Is this an actual stereotype, the gongs thing? No, it's probably just a joke, which reveals the writer's lack of wit and humor. We do get an interesting and much appreciated world-building detail, though, as the heists are being reported on local news.
Chicago crime has found its way into the city's growing tech industry as of late.
Mr. Italian Job here is apparently not so convinced about the biolab heist, as he can't find anything to blackmail the CEO with. It's okay, though. Parker has a better idea.
Can't find a pressure point. I mean, we'll just have Riri hit him with the 1-2, you know? Punch a hole in the building and make one.
It's funny.
Great idea. Hulk smash. I thought there were no suits allowed, no metal allowed. I'm actually siding with Italian Job here. He might be the most solid member of the team. I'm not going to lie. And you know what happens to good things in Disney Marvel? They must come to an end. Now, Parker comes to his senses almost and agrees with Italian Job.
And you think the crew would be down to go into this half-ass just because you're blinded by your personal vendetta? Think, Parker.
Maybe you're right.
But seconds later, he gets insulted by the news broadcast and changes his mind.
The founder and CEO made a public statement regarding the crime, saying these are simply petty thieves trying to make a buck using cheap tricks.
No. We hit the target as planned.
That's ironically the definition of petty, my guy. Like, well done proving the point. Side note, this dude signed his name on legal documents an episode back and also dished out company salaries for everyone on the squad. And you're telling me none of that can be used to trace the heist back to them. We then cut back to Riri, and she's at Han Solo Jr.'s house now, where he's having trouble with some Neuralink biotech bullshit.
What happened to this place?
I was trying to create a neural link between myself and a computer chip to test the potential for prosthetic implants, and whoopsie.
What did you do?
Seriously, bro is slowly turning himself into C-3PO. I don't understand what's going on here. Riri is talking about how she's going to use the biomesh material to hide her tech for the heist, as she drops some of the dumbest techno jargon yet.
Got some ideas for that biomesh.
Yeah?
We could upgrade it with some enhanced silicone gritting for cloaking. Cloak it from x-rays, metal detectors.
Quick little Google search here. Jarvis, Does silicone block metal detectors? No? Okay, cool. That was easy. I really wish the writers had access to such information at the click of a button, but unfortunately, I'm the only person on Earth that has Google. But what about X-rays? Jarvis, pull up X-rays and silicone. Oh, okay. So it does have to be kind of a thick layer of silicone in order to block strong X-rays. Cool. So the writers were only about 3% correct here. Probably a record statistic for them at this point. Well done. Now, I was rooting for Joe here for a moment, but then he also drops a dumbass line here as Riri wants to borrow his tech.
Thing is, I just need to borrow it.
I knew it. No.
Just...
This is all black market tech that I've heavily modified and can be traced back to me. You can't use it to make something even more illegal.
But Joe?
Hang on. Isn't the point of black market stuff to be not traceable? Like, what are there now public and private black market receipts? That's like me buying weed off a street dealer. The cops find it, smoke it, and then somehow know exactly where the street dealer lives. Both of these scenarios make absolutely no sense. Just let her borrow it, Joe. Nobody's gonna trace it. They probably will end up tracing it because the show needs it to. But yeah, let her borrow it, bro. She's the main character. Come on, she needs it.
We can make something legit.
Yeah, Joe. We could make something legit. We could make illegal weapons for criminal heists.
Can that be used to violate all kinds of concealed weapon laws?
Yes.
Exactly what I'm saying, Joe. Exactly. Violating weapon laws.
What is this?
What is this?
Wheat flour?
Yeah, that's what it is. It's got to be some wheat flour.
Riri, please put that back.
Dad. The hell, Joe? Why is he in a baggie?
What? Okay, get this straight. Han Solo Jr. here keeps his dad's ashes in a Ziploc bag on his kitchen counter. You can't even begin to make this shit up. This is the funniest TV show I've seen all year. And I watched a clip of Agatha on TikTok once. Now, per usual, Riri fumbles the bag, literally, and Joe vacuums up his dad. Fuck. And we get the most ridiculous, desperate, totally unnecessary bullshit world-building callback as we see the bag labeled with none other than the name of Obadiah Stain. You know, box of scraps guy.
Tony Stark was able to build this in a cave with a box of scraps.
Iron Man's biggest nemesis from the first movie. Two things. First, is that how you label your dad's ashes? A piece of tape with his full name in a Ziploc bag? It seems both way too formal and way too fucking informal and fucking dumb at the same time. Excuse my language. And second, Obadiah? Mr. Box of Scraps himself? Tony's nemesis? Are we really digging up that grave just to shit on it? I mean, it makes sense for this shitbag of a show. Why would I expect anything less? Next thing you know, Pepper's got a cousin who's going to come out of the woodworks and work for the heist gang. I don't know. We do need a ginger in this show. Everyone's legacy is out here getting pissed away into the wind on Disney+. It's fucking abominable. It's outrageous. Now, Riri refuses to believe this for a moment, just as I did, and only for motivations that can be described as completely meta. Seriously, she gets frustrated visibly by this.
Obadiah. Let's see. A rich techie whose dad's name was Obadiah S.
Why would this actually make her upset? I mean, I get it. Stain was a villain to us, the movie watchers, but it's very, very extremely unclear how the world actually perceives him after his death and how much of that whole storyline was actually leaked to the public. Most of it, I don't think, was leaked to the public. She's reacting exactly like the writers reacted while writing this. This whole show is just a self-insert for the writers. That's it. It's pure comedy. And to top off this absolute piece of shit scene, Riri knows the audience is either too ignorant or too young to get the reference here. So she has to exposition dump us while pulling up an actual picture of Obadiah on her phone.
COO of Stark Industries, BFF to Howard Stark, mentor to Tony Stark, died in that horrible plane crash. That's Stain?
Yeah, that's the guy, Riri. That's the guy. Now, Han Solo Jr. completely contradicts his entire character when he drops this absolute banger.
The truth is, Dad died trying to kill Tony Stark. And I've spent my whole life trying to be nothing like him.
Really? The black market and corporate weapons tech dealer Obadiah Stain? You want to be nothing like him? My guy, why the hell do you have a stockpile of black market weapons and tech shown in the previous episode where you told us you wanted to be closer to your dad? And why keep his ashes with a label on the kitchen counter? I know why. The only answer is because the writers of this show needed Riri to figure this out so we can have some deeper revelation with some Easter eggs to keep the show interesting. I swear, everyone in the writer's room was dropped on a bag of bricks as a baby. I said it. It's quite impressive they managed to make it this far. Anyways, this whole thing understandably bothers Joe. They have a mini falling out, but then they come together at the kitchen table here.
Why the iron suit?
Now, this is where we could have gotten a really good character moment where Riri explains herself further, but this is what we get instead.
Because I could.
Oh my God.
Why'd you really build it? Were you a fan?
The real fan was Gary. Stepdad.
It's always back to Natalie or Gary. You built the suit for your dead stepdad? Okay, that's fine, I guess. But why did he like Iron Man?
He used to talk about Stark all the time. He was a mechanic, but he had an aviator's brain.
Oh, he had the mind of an aviator.
He fixed broken things all the time.
Okay, but there must be a deeper reason as to why your dad loved fixing things. Please, give us the deets.
Because he could. Broken car, broken home, the broken-hearted widow, even broken me.
Just because he could. He married your mom just to see if he could do it. Just for fun. Not because he has any strong family values, any deep passions, any moral fiber, nothing that would make this whole sentimental conversation have any deeper character meaning at all. Just because he could. Just because he could. Just cures cancer because he could. Like, it's all surface level, but they pretend with editing and filmmaking techniques that they're really digging deep into the characters. It's pathetic. This atrocious excuse for a scene finally ends, and we cut to the gang meeting up in public at a parking garage before the heist, where for some reason, this is where they have to dump all their metal gear. Seriously, they already knew that they couldn't bring this shit on the heist, but Clown still brought a goddamn grenade.
Last metal check before we head to Heirloom. The sensors in these greenhouses are no joke. We're gonna have a shot at holding Heirloom hostage.
What the fuck is going on? What is going on? Riri tucks her piece of tech in, and you can clearly see that it's exposed beneath the biomesh. Like, it's not even that well hidden. And we just heard Slug say that these metal detectors are no joke. So how the hell is this even going to work? My guess is that it's probably actually going to go wrong, which would be bravo to the writers when it does. We then cut to yet another absolutely retarded heist scene because it wouldn't be an Ironheart episode without one by now. And we see Riri in her metal suit flying way too close for a stealth mission. Now Slug does some hacker shit and turns off all the cameras. Riri lands on the watchtower with no guard keeping watch on the watchtower, I guess. Now she takes out the searchlight, and Parker and Gen Z gang approach the facility with a tiny boat. We then get an obligatory Blood Twinks fight sequence where I'm almost absolutely certain neither of them are going to face any issue against the entire force of armed and trained security guards. Of course, they're already marginalized enough. Why would they get hurt? Come on. Yep, checks out. And another one. Seriously, where is the tension in these scenes? Can at least one of the guards not be a complete dumbass NPC? You know it's going to be super easy for these people because the writers can't show weakness to their favorite dogshit characters. Now, Riri actually does something clever here as she lets Natalie control the suit so she can pull off her secret mission.
I'm coming to you.
Copy that. Stand by.
I'm not going to lie, this one caught me off guard. This is a smart move. Riri then inexplicably goes for a dive, and I get hit with a Coca-Cola commercial break on Disney+. And I skipped the last one. You guys are not going to skip this one either, so let's just sit back and watch. No, I'm kidding. Jarvis, cut this shit out, please. Okay, back to the heist, and we have Riri going full-on James Bond Michael Phelps mode. As I shit you not, she swims underneath the facility, uses her new tech laser to unlatch this gate, swims down a tunnel, and finds a secret underwater convenient entrance. I have way too many questions about this. Why is this secret underwater passageway even a thing? I don't know, man. Per usual, I'm not buying it. We then cut to a giant green room where finally we get to meet the Biolab CEO. Isn't it interesting how everyone, coincidentally, who's white in this show is either supposed to be a complete bitch or an evil villain? Let's take a head count. We have Evil Tunnel CEO, white lady. We have Pussy McDumbass Han Solo Obadiah Sperm Jr. And we have Han Solo's bitch neighbor Karen, also a white lady. And now this guy, Evil CEO. Very interesting pattern from Marvel's most diverse show yet. Gotta love it. Anyways, let's just see how this plays out. The CEO has the Force, and he can sense the Hood's presence somehow, and
I know you're there. Apologies.
Somehow the underground secret water tunnel entrance opened up conveniently so the plot can have her enter the scene just in time for some contrived drama. Let's go. Turns out there is a foreign object sensor. It's just a bullshit detector, and it senses anything the plot needs it to. And of course, this scares Riri a bit. It's okay though. She just adjusts the silicone on her arm by 1/2 inch, And the multi-billion-dollar tech facility security system is absolutely fooled by this. It worked just like that. Anyways, we then get some bullshit negotiation dialogue from Hood and CEO here.
More than enough to keep you and your friends happy. Nope, this isn't about money. Come on, man.
Two things. This dude was strapped with a check waiting for this heist to go down. He knew what was going to happen. He knew Hood was there. He knew Hood was coming to blackmail him, to steal money, to get money, to do whatever. But instead of preparing with more security, his big plan is to let them in and pay them off. If you knew they were going to do this, why would you not plan harder to catch them? This is beyond idiotic here. There is no excuse. There is no defending it. Now, the second thing, the Hood here, he says it's not about the money. Okay. Yet he took the money from the last gig and we never saw them truly take down the tunnel operation. They just paused it for a sec. The script makes it really hard to put any weight behind his motivations here. Hood Boy is now conveniently perfectly positioned to have a piece of his suit taken by Riri as he stands right on the edge of the walkway. But she gets cut off by the bullshit detector. Hood then declines the paycheck and hands his list of demands to the CEO. But the CEO is actually an absolute Chad.
Are you joking with this piece of paper? Sign the contract. No.
Now this triggers plan B from Slug.
Suit yourself. Do it, Slug.
Fire detectors are now disabled.
Oh, perfect. Fire detectors are off and now they're going to torch the place.
Clown, light it up.
Riri ends up setting off the detector finally, and this traps Clown and the Blood Twinks in their respective rooms within the facility. Now, if we had turned off all security systems, like I mentioned, like we know Slug is capable of, this shit would not have happened in the first place, but oh well, here we are. And apparently the foreign object detector is also just a fire detector because it ends up extinguishing the fires anyways. Like shit's hitting the fan. We then get the world's most obvious setup line from Chad here.
Take your pennies and get out of my sight.
Yeah, you said it. Hood literally gets out of his sight. He literally disappears. Holy shit. Damn, that was cold. I'm not gonna lie, he's actually a real villain now. Might be the best character in the show. Now, Riri looks down and notices she was able to get a piece of the suit after all. Now it's a race to escape the facility as the breathable air is leaving the sealed rooms. We see on screen, logically, that Blood Twink 1 is going for the door or for the window or whatever with a heavy object, you know, trying to bash it in. And yet we see retardedly that Blood Twink 2 is not being so resourceful. You gonna fist fight the window? Come on, man. Or come on, girl. I don't know. You have an entire room of heavy equipment and you're going in raw with the fist. Pause. No diddy. Anyways, a whole new army of security guards conveniently show up just a bit too late. But Parker is still here, so he's going to fist fight them 1v7. Keep in mind, they all have plastic guns. Seriously, he's not even invisible anymore, and they have guns. And they still continue to lose to this dumbass. Meanwhile, Riri finds a conveniently sized and well-placed Deus Ex ventilation shaft, and she makes her escape. The vents close off on Riri, and she tells Natalie to go save the crew. Now, Hood Boy finally goes invisible again, takes down more NPCs, and then curves 2 bullets for no other reason than one of the writers watched the movie Wanted the night before and thought it would be cool. Seriously, watch this again. The bullets are already headed straight for the victims with an easy line of sight. So why do they need to be curving? It doesn't add up. It doesn't add up. These writers want to sound smart, but they're dumb. They want to look cool, but they're dumb as fuck. Now, Hood picks up a key card while Riri exits the vent. Finally, main character takes some fall damage. Seriously, all that crazy flying in a suit, a literal crash landing from 100 feet up in the streets of Chicago, she's fine. But she jumps out of a vent, and this is what hurt her? Pathetic. Realistic. This part. But still, this is what finally hurt her. Anyways, this little injury's not going to matter. She gets hurt for 5 seconds maybe. Oh, and she gets a nice warm greeting from Italian Job here.
Why are you in your suit?
And in typical Riri fashion, the super genius doesn't have a clue how to safely conceal very important plot items as she still has the piece of hood in her fucking hand. Are you kidding me? How dumb can this bitch get? They're just letting anyone into MIT these days, I guess. She can invent a bubble shield, but she doesn't know how to use her pockets.
How'd you get that, Riri? Huh? Where's Parker? John?
Oh, now she learns how to tuck something into her tits. After all this, this is just flat out sad and embarrassing. Now Italian Job proceeds to kick the shit out of Riri. Of course, though, we can't have Riri lose too bad, so she fights him off. And Parker meets up with Thing 1 and the Blood Twink. Natalie pulls up in the iron suit to save Clown and Blood Twink 2. An Italian Job does whatever this is. You know, for being a self-proclaimed Italian knife expert, this guy looks more like Helen Keller with a baseball bat. What are you doing? Just tackle the bitch. Of course, though, Riri finds a clever way to best him in the fight for just a moment, but not for long. Italian Job proceeds to deck the bitch to the floor. Perfect time for the Deus Ex iron suit. Right on cue. Predictable, but somewhat satisfying, I guess. Now, Riri wanted to save the others, but she got in a knife fight with Bro here, so he kind of gets left to suffocate.
Sealed in 3, 2, 1.
Literally, she just kills the dude here, straight up. We then get the gang regrouping at the dock to make their escape. And tell me why I'm actually feeling bad for Parker and John here in this scene.
I'm sorry, he's in one of the greenhouses and he's not moving. I'm so sorry.
Like, damn it. This shitty show made me want to save John just so I can see him kick the shit out of Riri again.
Do not touch the damn hood!
F's in the chat for Rampage, justice for John. I want to see it in the comments. Now, the security system is back on by now. Watchtower light included, police sirens in the background, and yet somehow they're supposed to make it off unnoticed in this little escape boat. The only boat that will even be visible leaving the crime scene. Got it. Okay, cool. Now, a very poetic and conveniently on-theme storm rages on all of a sudden as Riri heads home, where she realizes she left the somehow highly traceable illegal dark web biomesh back at the facility.
Whoa, you're on the biomesh.
Bad news for Han Solo Jr. At least the writers are actually following up on that plot thread. It's kind of impressive, not gonna lie. Now, Parker is back home and he's losing his absolute shit. Rightfully so, justice for John. It's unclear who he's shouting at, but if you've heard anything behind the scenes, he's literally shouting at Satan himself, aka Mephisto.
I trusted you.
Now, unironically, this is how I sound in my head when questioning the writing of this show. And hold on. A wild Italian Job appears. He's back. Now, it seems whoever he's talking to is giving him sort of a vision, giving him hints as to how his cousin John here died, as we see Riri's suit shadow menacingly cast onto the floor here. We then cut back to Riri having a full-on mental breakdown, as she should.
Riri, please talk to me. Good? No, I'm not.
Now, this is the very end of the episode. This is the last final line of the episode. And I can't help myself here, but I started to think that this line was deeper than what it appears. Perhaps the writers are somehow self-aware enough after all of this, and this is a nod to the fact that Riri has sort of become an actual villain. Like, are you good? No, I'm not. I'm a piece of shit. Just like this show, just like this episode. Perfectly on theme. Gotta give him credit. I didn't think it can get worse, but it did. And I can bet your ass it'll continue to get worse. Guys, this was episode 3 of Ironheart, my reaction, review, raw breakdown, whatever you want to call it. If you're new here, hit the notifications, like, subscribe, comment, F's in the chat for Rampage, Justice for John. I want to see you guys down there in the comments. Anyways, I love you. 3,000. Stay tuned for the next episode and have a nice day.